Well, unexpectedly, I thought I'd be doing a video on replacing the brake pads on my Fiat, 78 Fiat, but just driving the car the other day, and she's managed to spring a little bit of a leak on the rad there. So, looks like I'm going to be pulling the rad out today and see what's going on with it. I'm hoping it's a small little puncture maybe on one of the tubes that can be repaired, because I think the repair is somewhere around. I must admit, I don't actually know too much about the about the motor in this car. There's the rad. This will actually give me a chance to take a look at that fan blade. It's got a bit of a wobble on when it's going. I haven't had any real overheating issues with this car, even in 35-degree summer days, stuck in traffic. It'll run a little bit hot and the fan will stay on for a while, but no issues with the heating in general. So I'm hoping that it's not that metal shroud has somehow punctured one of those tubes, but we'll take a look and see what we got going on. Like I said, I don't really know anything about this car's engine, like what's normal, what's not normal. Previous owner, well, not the previous owner, because I know they didn't do any work, I don't think, but the owners before that had done some stuff like catalytic converters removed. Various things, emissions related, are probably no longer attached to the car. But yeah, I guess if you see anything interesting in the comments, please comment below. Yeah, you can see various evaporation system hoses are off. Don't think that's this normal manifold. Obviously there's a bung for O2 sensor maybe. Actually no, would this have an O2 sensor? I wouldn't, because it's 78. What am I talking about? Yeah. Lots of stuff to fix up. You can see that's the ignition coil that I replaced, which is, other than changing the shocks for the conies, that's the only other work I've had to do, was to replace the coil and the points. I need to do a little bit of tweaking there because some of the one of the screws was stripped, so I had to zip tie the condenser onto the side just to get the car moving. But it's been holding for a while and I've been too lazy to fix it properly. I did change the spark plug wires as well. Timing belt seems to be in good shape so far. I'll take a look at it next year, see what kind of general tune-up I'll do on all the parts. I have to probably go and replace all the suspension bushings and things like that have been sitting for 40 odd years, so I doubt that they've ever been replaced, but who knows. And I'm assuming, well, maybe I'll take a quick peek and see what carb's on this one. I don't know if they've replaced it or not. I know that there's some upgrades that people do on these. Anyway, task at hand is pull that rad. Alright, let's see what kind of mess I can make here pulling this hose off. There's no drain port on it, so I think I just need to loosen this guy off of here. Let's see if we can control the gushing. What's the worst that could happen? I hose off the driveway and send some propylene glycol down the sewer. But we'll try to avoid that as much as we can. And we'll go for the proper disposal. Although, now that let's see how long this hose has been on here, if I can actually get it to loosen off without having to resort to Neanderthal tactics. I might actually disconnect the hose up at the top as well, so I can give it a twist. Alright, so we got some fluid pouring. It's interesting that it still has that much fluid in it. I guess I should have checked that first. I just assumed a bunch of it had drained out when the leak had come up. Alright, well, we'll get some drainage done. We'll rejoin once I have this drained out. I'm sure that's not very exciting for everybody to watch. Okay, so I mean, this is the shenanigans I'm doing right now. Just keep in mind, this is my lunch hour away from work. So I don't really have a lot of time to get as much progress as I can. So I'm kind of approaching this half-assedly. I'm just gonna drain out from this top hose a little bit slowly until I can get the level down to this fitting, so I can pull this one hose off that goes to the lower rad, I guess it's the lower rad hose, and pop it out and to drain the rest out of the rad. You know, it's not the best way to do it, but that's what I'm gonna do, just to get myself able to get back into work when my lunch hour is over in another 25 minutes or 30 minutes. Well, that went surprisingly well. Actually, I managed to slowly drain everything out from the top of that hose until the level got to that point on the rad, and then I just bent that hose down as much as I could, and I emptied out most of the rad, I think. So I think at this point I'll just be able to disconnect the that upper hose there, unscrew whatever the bolts are that hold the rad onto the body, and I should be able to have this thing out fairly quickly, I think. And if anybody's curious, this is a 5/16, so I'm sure I have a nice mixture of imperial and metric use on this car, because God knows what's been changed, what hasn't been changed. So we'll see. Let's close that up so we don't drop anything interesting in there. I do need to get a kind of GoPro mount or something so I can work with two hands. This is a little bit inconvenient, but maybe it adds to the enjoyment. Oh, that's interesting. It's not a round port on the top. Okay, I might have to put you down for a second while I do this. There we go. Yeah. I'm assuming this is all original rad. There we go. Oh, cool. That's one way to do things, I guess. Alright, just because I don't want to do anything on dry fasteners, let's give this a little quick shot. I'm not expecting any issue to... Actually, I might just get all these guys. Not expecting any issues with these fasteners, but you never know. Right out, my can's empty. Let's see what happens. Birch canister. I assume that's the birch canister, which is interesting. Alright, I think these guys should be 10mm fasteners. Do a quick change. I have to say, I probably have to look at the settings on this phone to see how I can do focus control, because I don't know if any of this is in focus for you guys. So I'm just taking the fasteners off the top that bolt the rad onto the body. And also, I guess this is the overflow hose here, which should come off easily. So no issues with any stuck fasteners. Bonus, which probably implies this has been done before. Okay, good. Got a rubber isolator there, which is fantastic. I always like to see those things still in looks like decent shape and functioning. So on to the other side. Let's see if we can achieve this without having to take the snorkel off. And I'm just using my small ratchet because this should all be fairly low torque requirements, one would hope. It looks like the antifreeze is just straight antifreeze, they didn't bother mixing, which apparently doesn't give you the same level of protection. Some level of dilution apparently is better. Alright, so far so good. Things are coming off. Oh, there we go. So I need to disconnect the fan. here. Somebody siliconed in the connectors. I'm sure this will be various discoveries as I go through. So I'm just tracing to see where these wires go. Make sure there's nothing else for me to disconnect. Except for my headphones. Alright, I think this is going to be a two-handed job now. So I think I'm ready to pull the rad out. And once I get the rad out, I'll take the fan off as well. Okay, just to quickly show you where I'm at. I have about 5 minutes left in my lunch hour. So almost got this guy out. So I ended up just taking that one hose off on that side just to give myself some room. I should probably have taken this one off here as well just to not worry about it, but it came in handy to rest the rad on it because I had trouble getting the connectors off on this side. So, I mean, this one came off not too bad. You can see there's the thermal switch down here, and there's looks like maybe that's a drain port, but I don't really want to crack that one right now because then my luck is it'll just leak forever. Also, previous owner had put in some spade terminals for the fan power, which I will need to address. I don't really like that approach, but I prefer to have a proper connector, but I'll see what I can do. So yeah, so this thing is ready to come out, and I didn't want to try taking that off of there because my luck is I just like break the whole rad apart. Yeah, so I think this baby is ready to come out, and I guess at the end of the day, when my work day is done, I'll tackle taking off the fan. All right, we'll catch up when it's fan removal time. So as luck would have it, there's always one bolt that gets stuck, right? And in this case, it's this one bolt holding the fan on. So everything else is coming off pretty easily, but obviously I can't put too much torque on it because it'll twist the whole rad, and I don't want to do any more damage to it than the hole that's already there, which I'm hoping will be a cheap fix. So yeah, so I need something to hold this thing steady while I put some torque onto that nut without tweaking the end frame. We'll see how this goes. I seem to have lost my 10mm socket, so I'm just going to use the box end wrench. So let's put some load on this baby. Come on. Come on, let's go. Don't give me a hard time. Oh, it's not feeling good. I might actually end up snapping this guy. Oh, there we go. I don't know if it's snapped or if it's like... There we go. Yeah, there we go. Woohoo! Alright, I gotta pull that out of the vise and finish unscrewing it. That looks pretty good. So it doesn't look like the fan shroud is causing any damage, so that's a good sign. I don't know how I would get anything done without scrap pieces of cardboard to put things down on. This is the difference between amateur wrenchers and professionals, right? We do random stuff that's not the best just to get a job done because we're doing it for ourselves. We don't have to worry about doing the perfect job for a customer. There we go. That nut is not coming off. I'll spray it anyway just to see if I can loosen it, just in case I need to pull it off or try to pull it off. I might search online for a replacement fan from anybody's scrap car, parts car. We'll see what I can find just to have as a backup. There's a peek with the rad pulled out. You can see somebody's done a fancy DIY license plate holder on the grill. One thing this car is missing is that lower air dam, which I think I'm going to try source to put on this car because obviously that would affect the airflow into the rad, and I don't think it looks too bad having that stock air dam in there, but we shall see. I'm not sure what was there, but I'd have to look that up. Probably some kind of air pump or something for emissions. The frame looks in pretty decent shape, so all in all, oops, I don't know what that little piece of paper is, but yeah, I think this car is in fairly decent shape, so hopefully it'll last me quite a few years. Pass it down to the kids, and then they can do whatever they want with it. Well, I guess the next update will be once I get this rad over to the rad shop, see what they say. It looks in pretty good shape otherwise. It's pretty heavy. A lot heavier than I thought it would be. But... So somewhere here is our area of concern. I'm not sure what happened there. Somebody smushed it. But yeah, a couple of little witness lines of some leakage. So yeah, so I'll continue on this video once I get a chance to take to the shop and see what their verdict is.